Now, whether you're looking for your first set of headphones for that home studio, maybe you're a content creator, or you need multiple pair for monitoring and tracking in a project or even pro environment, the Audio-Technica M20X are definitely in the conversation, so let's check them out. Now, the M20X represent the entry level into Audio-Technica's popular M series of headphones, but just because they're at an affordable price doesn't mean we shouldn't expect performance. Now, these headphones have quite a number of hours on them, so there's no issues with burn-in here, and all of the audio for the tests in this review are going to be captured using my binaural microphone that has two Sennheiser MKE2 capsules, so we're going to get pretty accurate representation of what they sound like. And while you can't actually try these headphones on in this review, I do encourage you to wear a good set of headphones so you can listen for the difference between the original recordings and the recordings I've made through the headphones. Now, when we take our first look at the Sine Sweep Direct versus a Sine Sweep recorded through these headphones, we can see there's some underemphasis in that 5K range, plus in the 8 to 10K range, also even in the top frequencies, not to mention a bit of a roll-off below 100 Hz. Now, we'll take a look at the log comparison to see if we find the same thing there. And the log comparison is really showing us the same thing. We have that underemphasis around 5K and the 8 to 10K range, plus the low end as well is underemphasized. So nothing really unexpected here. I wasn't looking for the most accurate neutral headphones, but definitely something to be aware of. Let's go ahead and try this with music as well. Now, I hope you could pick up the difference well between the original recording and the one I made through the headphones here. But looking at the linear analysis, once again, we see that kind of 5K, 8 to 10K, plus the low range here that are underemphasized. Definitely contributes to a bit of a thinner sound from these headphones. They don't really sound scooped because we don't have a big drop in it around that 800 to maybe 2K range, but still there is some missing information here. Of course, let's look at the log comparison as well. And the log comparison is really showing us the same thing here. We do have that missing information in the 5 and 8 to 10K range, plus some missing bass here. I wouldn't say overall, that the profile is vastly different than the original recording, but definitely there's coloration with the headphones. And this is a sample of spoken words, so we can compare the sound of the recording directly versus the sound through the headphones. And this is a sample of spoken words, so we can compare the sound of the recording directly versus the sound through the headphones. Now, listening back to the recording made through the headphones, I'm definitely going to say that some of that bass wasn't there, so they didn't really sound as warm. They were kind of a little bit thin sounding compared to the original recording. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. Definitely, again, looking at the linear comparison, that 5K range, a little bit thin, the 8 to 10K range. So with that, you have to watch out for sibilance. You're not going to pick up sibilance through these headphones as much as you would through some others. So if you're using these for podcasting and then editing, you'd have to be careful with that because you might have some sibilance coming through that you're not getting in your headphones. Now, in the lower level, again, it's not going to sound as warm. Your voice isn't going to have that deep warmth or thickness to it because of the headphones. So again, be careful not to overboost in the lower frequencies. Now, when we switch over to the log comparison, again, it's showing us the same thing. So in this case, we're really getting, just a confirmation that that is what we're hearing, and those are the frequencies that are missing. When we're looking at headphones in this affordable price range, a lot of you are going to like to use these for multi-purpose. So it might be for general listening, and you might also use them for some music production, podcast, content creation. But some of you are also going to do some light gaming on them. So let's check out some game audio. Now, if I had to use one word to characterize my impression of these headphones on game audio, it actually would be weak. And I say that because, the lacking in the lower bass response really underemphasize some of the significant aggressive tones in the game audio. So that's the first thing. Clarity as well. When you need to hear those footsteps or you want to hear other people speaking, having those missing frequencies in the 5K range and 8 to 10K range are going to take some of the intelligibility out of the speech. So that could be an issue as well. Not the worst I've heard by any means, but also not optimal for game audio. Talking a bit about the build quality of these headphones, I have to say, in this price range, you're not going to expect a lot. But that said, the headband, there's actually a fair amount of padding in it, so that's pretty good to see. It is a metal band as well, so there's some durability there. Also on the sides, we have metal adjustments in and out, so that's good to see as well. But you will note the exposed wires, so if you catch them on something, you're going to have to repair it, but they'll be more repairable. The ear cups, they do pivot around to the back, but they don't have much pivot side to side. So you need to keep that in mind. They're not going to be really compact that you can fold them up for travel or anything like that. The ear pads themselves are fairly firm, stiff. I actually find them a bit softer than the M30X actually. And they're not overly large. So if you have, big ears, you're going to have to understand they're going to be a little bit toasty in there and a little bit compact. As far as the cable, it is permanently attached as a strain relief on the side. But I will say the quality of it is very good. It's quite soft, but it feels strong enough. Has, of course, the 3.5 millimeter jack, comes with an adapter for 1/4 inch, so you're going to get everything you need there. Overall, I would say these headphones, they're going to be good for use for tracking in a studio. You want to have them for, general use where they're going to get a lot of use, and you want something inexpensive. You understand it's probably going to get broken at some point. So in a studio, that's great. As your first set of studio headphones to get going with, a really good choice. Again, very affordable in this price range. These are going to be comparable in some ways for use case to like Sennheiser HD280 Pros or even Sony 7506s. Maybe not quite at the same quality, but really close and at a lot lower price. So build here and value looks pretty good. Now I have a full set of specifications in the description below, but suffice to say these headphones are a 47 ohm design, so they're going to be easily playable through phones, laptops, audio interfaces. You're not going to need a special amplifier or DAC for these. Now, frequency response is also stated at 15 hertz up to 20 kilohertz, but definitely in the testing, there's significant roll-off below 100 hertz. So that's a bit of a stretch. I'm sure there may be some frequency response down in that range, but nothing we're likely going to hear. The same thing applies in the upper frequency range as well. It really does roll off. Now, another thing about these headphones is being closed back, we're looking for some sound isolation, and I have to say they're quite average in that aspect. They're not going to really keep out a lot of sound, but for just general use where you don't want to have people hearing around you, they're going to be fine. Not the greatest if you have live drums playing. They're going to let quite a bit of sound through with that, so something to keep in mind. And overall, though, they are lightweight, so you could wear them for a long time, but they do tend to get a little bit warm. And so after all those tests, I'm going to give you my final thoughts. These headphones are a reasonable entry again into Audio-Technica's M series of headphones. Certainly the 30, and in particular the 40 and the 50X have a lot more to offer before we get into that really high price range. And I have reviews on all of those headphones, so if you want to check those out, look for them in the description below as well. Now with the 20s, overall reproduction is okay. We're definitely missing some frequencies. If you like bass-heavy music, EDM, anything like that, these are not going to be the choice for you. Same thing applies, if you're one of those general use cases where you're going to do quite a bit of gaming, not going to be the headphones I recommend. But if you want to use them for podcasting, content creation, general tracking, music production, they're going to do a good job with that. Durability is actually very good in this price point. So another thing to keep in mind, you're going to have these headphones for a long time. If you wanted them for mixing application, I'm going to say they're not accurate enough. You're going to struggle and you're going to have issues making good decisions about low frequencies as well as those upper, mid, and high frequencies. So really not the ideal choice for that, but they are a good starting point. If these are your first studio headphones, definitely a lot of value here. And if you're looking for a good set of headphones for general listening or to get started with your home studio, check out one of these videos for some other options.